Hi, I'm Carly Moyer, and my partners Will McDade and Tim Kennedy will be talking about our social venture, Community Repurpose Center for Recycled Goods, RCC. We appreciate if you refrain from asking questions until the end of the presentation, and thank you ahead for your time. So, what are we and what do we do? Well, we are a local community-based organization that aims to remove trash and recyclable products from the North Philadelphia neighborhood streets. We then convert these materials into products and distribute them or install them. In addition, we have short surveys of what trash-related problems they see and want to improve and what kind of resources they need, such as maybe parks or some furniture or electronics. This would help provide some financial relief to locals. We specifically want to look at North Philadelphia because the average time for the city to address the trash complaint from start to finish is 28 days compared to Center City, which is only 6 days, and compared to any other towns. North Philly is the last town to have the longest resolve time. There's a lack of urgency and care for North Philadelphian residents, and RCC's mission is to care for the environmentally sensitive area and the residents. In Philadelphia, there's a culture of dumping trash on the road, on the streets, in somebody else's lawn, anywhere, and storm drains filled with trash, leaving terrible odors where no one wants to smell them. So by bringing our services to North Philadelphia particularly, it can change the attitude from not caring as much, or certainly not at all, to making the effort to clean the environment and the neighborhood and make people feel clean, walking around clean, and just smelling the air really clean. So we want to promote this regular residential cleaning. So we're scheduled on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We want to be active in the community, but also want the resident to care for themselves and see how the bags of trash that's been sitting there for months does affect them, does impact the environment, and does attract more animals that we don't want, which can carry potential diseases and harm individual health. So with the consistent cleaning, it is important as it will help relieve a lot of stress and prevent animals, rodents roaming around town. The special thing about our social venture is that it's like a 4-in-1 service. It's cleaning up trash, it's a recycling centers that people can drop off. We do all the recycling in one place instead of different companies for different materials. We manufacture these materials into products that's appealing to the market and doesn't look like junk. We also give back to the community by asking them, what do they need, what do they want, and ask for any feedbacks to improve for our future services.
So here we have our business model, and at the top of the screen, I've broken our business down into 3 core components, and the first being recyclable collection. So this collection takes place at any one of our 50 donation bins around the city or at our main recycling center. The largest aspect of the recyclable collection is the customer's reimbursement for their donation. As we are taking these materials to upcycle our products, it's morally correct for us to give our customers a fair reimbursement for helping clean up their own community. The cost of the recyclable material is therefore factored into our pricing structure. Next up, we have material breakdown, and this goes hand in hand with the recyclable collection. This is the aspect of the business that really differentiates us from our competitors. So rather than relocating different materials to be recycled in different locations, what we've done, we've established a selection of machines that can be used to recycle any material in one location. So while this was a rather large upfront investment, in the long run, it allows us to operate more efficiently than our competition. So a portion of our funding has to be delegated to material breakdown because obviously this heavy machinery requires large amounts of electricity to operate, maintain. So both a portion of our funding is delegated to material breakdown and the cost of recyclable material. So when we put these 2 core aspects together, we arrive at product manufacturing. At this point in time, we only offer 2 different products, the park bench and the picnic table. These goods are simple for us to produce at a low cost, and these goods are assured to be quality even when constructed out of recycled material. That was a really big part of the decision-making process for us. So we simply fill these molds with our recycled material, resulting in an end product that's 100% recycled straight from the community. Moving forward to the bottom left of the screen, we have a diagram depicting our customer base. So the map on the left shows our initial target market from when we founded the company 1 year ago. We specifically targeted North Philadelphia for their high number of public dumping reports. And then the map on the right shows our current customer base. So as you can see, we have substantially expanded our market. We're certainly past our initial target market, and our statistics right now are only pointing towards further growth. So finally, on the bottom right of the screen, we have our 1 year consumer feedback report. Whenever we take on a new client, we issue them a survey about the conditions of the community, how we are doing as a business, and what specifically could be improved. So the graph on the screen shows the results of the survey question asked on a scale of 0 to 100, rate the clutteredness of your community. So in our initial survey 1 year ago, we received an average rating of 95, and this is obviously a very high rating and indicates large amounts of trash and recyclables in the streets. But in our most recent survey, we received an average rating of 36, which is substantially smaller than our first round. Although this is not the number that it needs to be, nor the number that we would like to see, this is confirmation that we're creating real change in the community and we're moving in the right direction.
So next we'll discuss our go-to-market plan. Our first step in our go-to-market strategy was first identifying a problem that could be approved in our community. And my group and I decided that we wanted to come up with a solution to the excess trash and recyclables that are seen lying in the streets of Philly. Our second step to our strategy would be what is our target customer base. And we decided that we wanted to first start out with targeting the low income areas in urban environments where the customer will benefit from giving us their trash and recyclables through our reimbursement policy. Our services and products will be helpful to the urban community as well as the environment, since we would be offering to clean up the streets from trash and recyclables laying around. And we would also be reimbursing the customer, which would be extra money in their pockets. Our third step in our go-to-market strategy would be what products and services we would offer. Our main service would obviously be to collect the customer's trash, recyclables, electronics, or any other refurbishable or non-refurbishable materials. With that material, we will then begin to sell furniture that we made from the collected materials, and we would sell that for a profit to whoever would want some. Our final step for our go-to-market plan was figuring out how we can gain and retain our customer base. One way that we could do this is by offering incentives to customers for giving us their materials for repurposing, which was how I mentioned earlier, our reimbursement policy. We could also provide the communities that we work with closely. We could give them free furniture that could be used in their community to make it better for the people living there. So in our next slide, we're going to discuss the competitive analysis seen in our industry. Our first competitor, which is also our biggest competitor, would be Philadelphia Streets. And Philadelphia Streets is the trash and recycling collection company that collects the trash and recyclables in the Philadelphia area. Obviously, they would be a competitor to us because they would also be collecting the trash and recyclables that we would need to make our business work. One way that we can be better than our competitors is by offering them the reimbursement and incentives for giving us their trash, which would hopefully persuade them to choose us rather than Philadelphia Streets. Another major competitor that we would have is U-Haul. U-Haul is a competitor for us more so in the later years in our future plans, because we were planning on offering a trash and recycle collection service where we would drive to the customer rather than them drop off materials to us. And U-Haul is in direct competition with us in this area because they offer the same thing where you can rent a vehicle and move the materials that you need from one place to another. This also goes hand in hand with Got Junk. Got Junk is more so specified for trash rather than U-Haul's more moving furniture. But Got Junk would also be in competition with us because they also would drive around and come to the customer to collect the trash rather than the customer coming to us.
Here we have the current status, accomplishment to date, and future timeline. As of now, we've established a customer base throughout the greater Philadelphia area. This customer base has now surpassed our initial target market, and it will only continue to grow bigger. So this increasing customer base is one of the largest sectors that our funding needs to go to. This system that we have in place now, it works for our current market, but as the number of our clients increase, so does the amount of pressure on our system. So as of now, we have one brick and mortar recycling location with 50 drop-off bins strategically located around the city. We're approaching $3 million in total revenue, and this essentially translates that we are past the proof of concept phase of development, and we're now refining our processes to operate more efficiently. Our products, the park benches and picnic tables, are now being sold to other cities for use in park development there. We've also been able to donate a significant amount of our products back into our community, the same place where the original material came from. Right now, we are actively doing market research to determine specifically what our next product should be. Obviously, there's not too many repercussions when you're producing recycled goods. But really what we're trying to do, we want to find a product that would create real change in the community, not just bring in revenue for us. So as for how we're spending our money now, we will always have to delegate a portion of our funds into product manufacturing. To help create real change in the community, we reimburse individuals at a fair amount for their donations. In addition to this, the process of recycling all of these different materials racks up a large electric bill. Besides these two core spending activities, most of our free funds are going to establish more repurposing centers. And this would allow us to expand our customer base without putting too much pressure on our existing recycling center. So in the near future, we plan to have a total of 3 recycling centers, and this would then pose the opportunity to potentially triple our customer base. Our first installment would be located in New York City. Our system that we have in place has proven worthy to handle a market of this size. And then our third location would be located in New Jersey, drawing donations from suburbs of both Philadelphia and New York. And of course, we plan on giving back to these communities in the same fashion that we have in our current markets.
So our next slide is financial projections and key metrics. According to the research that we did on our competitors, we came to the conclusion that in 3 years, our total yearly revenue will increase to $10 million a year. We also expect our total number of customers to increase tenfold from 100,000 customers to 1 million customers. One reason why we came to the conclusion of these numbers is because in the upcoming years, we look to expand up into the tri-state area. Due to this expansion, we expect not only our customers to increase, but also our revenue due to the large population in the tri-state area. And also cities like New York will allow us to expand our business exponentially.
And lastly, we have the management team. This final section will be brief as we've decided to only keep the 3 founders at the top of our management team, consisting of a CEO, CFO, and marketing director who are able to operate our business efficiently while simultaneously keeping our overhead as low as possible. So to begin, Carly fills the role of CEO. Her strategic thinking helped conceptualize the business initially, and in turn, down the line, the same strategic thinking is now being used to navigate our route through the market. She handles all hiring and firing of employees. She also makes the broad stroke decisions. Tim is our marketing director. He gave us kind of our creative spurt when we were just forming our original ideas. He managed to build our entire go-to-market strategy. So then, since our founding, he has overseen all of our marketing and essentially has single-handedly took over all of Philadelphia. Finally, I fill the role as CFO, or fill the role of CFO. From the beginning, I just wanted to make sure that the business would be financially viable because if we weren't financially viable, we wouldn't be able to compensate the community fairly, which honestly could be doing more harm than good. But no, now that we've ran the numbers and we've got the books in place, everything's looking good, and my role is to track cash flow and manage all financial planning.